Mermaid diving isn't all rainbows, butterflies, and graceful poses. We still have to consider the water that we are entering, the wildlife. I'm looking at some ducks, some loons that are around here too, and what kinds of warning signals tell us that this might not be a safe location to dive. Today, when storms happen, we are generally careful about swimming after a storm because there's much more stuff that kind of falls from the little edges. So I'll kind of show you guys here. This is a small river. It connects to the larger river that is actually down there. There's a little bridge right about there. There's some wildlife and an obvious current that is flowing because it's a river. There are still also some currents that are below, not just at the surface. But I wanted to show you guys kind of an intermediate current that occurs here in Ontario.
This is one of the ways that I test whether or not the current is very strong. As you can see, the fabric is flowing quite slowly as I'm holding the camera very still. That is a good thing. On the other hand, as I go a little bit further in, you can see the fabric start to flow just slightly. Again, this is not so bad. It's actually an area that you could control, but you do have to be quite strategic with your movements. As you can see, it is still flowing underneath as well, and underneath there are different currents happening too. Now in the center of the river, you can see there are two lines, one on the left, one on the right, and a little V shape right in the center. You want to make sure that you are not landing in between those rocks because currents can take you quite quickly. Even though the river here is quite shallow, in fact, it's just up to my knees, the rocks that are nearby are quite large and you will pinball all the way down, getting hurt left and right and making it quite difficult to get control and eventually get your footing.
I'm going to show you the quickness of this. It's going to be quite fast. So I'm going to hold one side and there you can see. So when we compare the two videos side by side, you can see how fast this goes. You can use the current to your advantage if you are mermaiding, but I would use it a bit more up this way just so that I don't have any real risk of hitting these rocks here. It's not even a heavy current. This is quite a mild current, but when you look at a river with a current like this and you see lots of waves going over, it looks beautiful, it looks picturesque. However, that lets you know where all the big rocks are. There might be holes in the ground as well.
You see those foamy parts on the river, those areas let me know there are big rocks nearby. I do not want to be close to those, but if I was mermaiding for photo shoots or video shoots, I wouldn't try to be in this center here. I would want to be nice and close to that big rock. It is perfect. It gives me enough depth right afterwards where I can reach underneath and grab some rocks to control my movements. If I wanted to be even more safe, I would choose a good spot right about there. This is probably the best spot.
Oh, there's a little baby heron. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little baby heron right there. Oh my god. It is so small. That's the first time I've ever seen one of those.
Now we'll head under the surface so you guys can see how the currents are flowing beneath. Here in the center, you can see the fabric is moving in various ways. That simply lets me know that there are a couple different currents going on all at once. That makes sense because of the amount of rocks that are around. If I chose to do some photo shoots here, I would just make sure that I consider the level of drag that I will be feeling when I'm in my tail. This is back to the middle spot, but you can see there are 2 to 3 currents pushing the fabric here. Still good for photo shoots, but again, you must be strategic with your movements. Lastly, my favorite spot, one that I would do myself because you still get the beautiful flow of the currents helping you capture those beautiful picturesque photos while not feeling like you're going to be dragged down the river. This is just on the outside where you can see only one current, which is the one pulling the fabric down the river. This means that you'd have more control of your arm movements as well as where the fabric flows, which really helps for capturing really fabulous photos. I was able to get my guppy tail on while in the river. When I'm floating, you can see I move towards the right. This is just the current pushing outwards as they do. Underwater, you can see my legs are floating just slightly, but a lot of me is being pushed left and right and left and right. When I try to float, it doesn't quite work as there are currents pushing me down, up, and left and right again. I don't want you guys to fear being in currents or taking photo shoots in currents. They can be quite helpful. It's just very important that we consider the safety before going in with our tails. I hope you enjoyed reading the waters. There's more of this in the Mermaid Warrior Circle. See you there.